So are we supposed to start the podcast?
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Patriots, gay triots, they triots, black triots, brown triots, and the people who try to oppress these people and don't have the courage to stand up for these people can.
Fuck off!
I added so many more little things.
Yeah, I was just
You were waiting with bated breath.
truly with bated breath.
Okay, Pumps, what have you had it with?
Okay. We haven't talked about this in a while, but I saw it this weekend and I have fucking had it. Couples sitting on the same side of the booth. Oh my gosh. I know that was early on in our Had It's. And I went to this restaurant and this older couple, like not old, like old, but like my age-ish, sitting on the same side of the booth. I checked. They were married, I assumed, to each other. And I'm like, you live together. You rode here together. Why are you sitting on the same side of the booth? It just went all through me. It just triggered me back to the early days of this podcast.
You know, that's always been something that has confounded me because I am an eye contact person.
Same.
I like to, when I'm having a conversation with someone, for them to be across from me, much like you and I are now. And the couples that sit on the same side of the booth, I always think, is it performative coupling when you're at home at the table? Do you sit on the same side of the table at home? And that's, I think, is key.
That's a great point.
That's key. What I want to know is if you sit on the same side of the table in your dining room or your breakfast table, and you do the same in public, then I'm going to give them a pass. But if you have a four-top at home and you sit on opposite sides, and then when you go out to a restaurant, you sit on the same side, I'm calling somebody's fucking around.
Really? You're going to go that far?
Because there's a lot of performative coupling that happens that I don't think happens behind closed doors, that's done for the public, which I think exposes some sort of insecurity or some historical lapse in the relationship that publicly you're announcing to all of these strangers that don't give a shit about you, that would normally never look at you except for the fact that you're sitting on the same side of the booth.
I think you're right. When I really think about it, I think you're right. It's performative. They're trying to tell the world we love each other. It's like you're 3 steps closer to a vow renewal when you're sitting on the same side of the booth.
Yeah. But I want to tell you, I witnessed the sweetest thing the other day. So I was getting a manicure pedicure and the ladies attack both my feet and hands at the exact same time. So my hands are occupied, my feet are occupied. And this kid, I would say he's probably 14 or 15, walked in to Epic Nails where I go. And he was selling candy apples. And he walked in and he was like, does anybody want to buy a candy apple? And I'm, aforementioned, hands are literally tied up. But I'm kind of watching the whole thing go down. There's probably about 10 customers. And there's this black lady that's sitting close to him. And she kind of scanned the whole entire place. I thought, nobody's going to buy a candied apple from this kid. But I'm going to. So she said, all right, I don't have any cash. And he's like, I take Cash App. So she picks out her candied apple and then it kind of gets contagious. Then everybody starts buying a candied apple. And I thought, that's so sweet.
That is sweet.
It was really sweet. And then this man comes in right as all this is happening. And he sits at the pedicure stand right next to me. And he's probably, I think, 85. He kind of shuffles in and he comes and sits down next to me. And then his phone rings real loud. Okay. And he takes the call on speakerphone.
Right.
Which normally irritates me. But he answers. He's screaming. And it's his wife that's on the phone. He's like, hey, honey, they're just on my feet now. It's going to be a while till they get to my hands. And she's like, I'm just completely fine. I'm sitting out here in the parking lot reading my book. You take your time. You take your time. And I'm kind of looking across at the people across and we're all smiling because it's very endearing and it's very sweet. And he said, okay, darling, you read your book and I'm going to sit here. And it takes a while for him to get processed through the whole hands and feet because he was getting both a pedicure and a manicure, which shout out for people staying on top of hygiene.
Absolutely.
Well into advanced stage. Well, fast forward, I'm leaving around the same time that this old man's leaving. And he goes outside and the wife is nowhere to be found. So Tammy, one of the gals that works at the manicure pedicure shop is out there in the parking lot with him, and they're literally going car to car. So I don't know where his wife was parked, but there are some times where there are certain things that irritate me, like speakerphone calls in public. In this instance, and I think it's just because I'm looking for goodness and all of this MAGA fuckery, I'm just desperate to see goodness in people. And I've kind of changed my outlook on being so bitchy about the petty stuff in MAGA America. So when the man sitting next to me was, screaming at the top of his lungs because he couldn't hear well, the wife screaming at the top of her lungs in the speakerphone, which is up full volume, and he's 12 inches away from me. I sat there and just smiled and thought, this is so adorable. Now, Jennifer, of 2 years ago, under a Democratic rule, I would have been irritated from start to finish on all of it.
Well, but like you said, you have to pick your battles and you have to find goodness in a world that is authoritarian. You have to think, that's sweet that this wife is waiting in the car for her husband. I'm a sucker. I've even been such a sucker. I've bought stuff on the subway, which all the New Yorkers look down, they look away. I always buy something. I'm a sucker for that.
Yeah. The kid, and the candied apples were impressive. There was a variety. They were all different flavors. Somebody put a lot of work into the candied apples. And I don't ever know what happened to the old man and his wife.
I was going to say, do we know? Did she show back up?
I don't know. At this point, I'm running late. I had to go. Tammy seemed to have him under control. Right. And it seemed like he was going to be best staying put versus, and I don't know, maybe she parked somewhere else and they figured it out eventually. But next time I go in, I'll get an update on him. All right, let me tell you what I've had it with. I've had it with Republican politicians, obviously, but one in particular throughout all of the cowardice on display that we see that got my attention a couple weeks ago is our Senator Mark Wayne Mullen. Mm-hmm. And he was on some committee, Senate committee, interrogating, I believe it was somebody that RFK Jr. fired at HHS. And I want to remind the listener that Oklahoma is ranked 50th in education. And he's trying to be a badass. And he keeps asking her, when was you fired? So is that when you was fired? So you was fired then, or you was fired then? It's just the stupidity on display combined with the hubris / arrogance of these people when they're objectively dumb. He's objectively being, blusterous and a blowhard. And I'm just sitting there watching that and I'm thinking, can we, maybe I just have to lower the bar. Can we just have politicians that can speak proper English? And he's probably the guy that's, banned Spanish, all that crazy shit.
For sure.
And he can't even speak English. Senator Mark Wayne Mullen, and he's the same guy that's so short he has to stand on a booster box when he does press conferences. I think he's probably 5'2", 5'3" on a good day.
He's also the same one that wanted to fight in the middle of the Senate chamber, the union president, because he's such a fucking tough guy that he can't use proper grammar. He's been everywhere too. And every time he gets on those news channels, he embarrasses himself. It's humiliating.
Because he's not smart.
He's not smart. And like you said, it's the hubris, the arrogance of, well, I'm so sharp. And it's like every time you open your mouth, you embarrass not only yourself, your family, your constituents, the entire state, and the United States
Here's
Senate.
The thing, though. Does he embarrass his constituents? Does he? I don't think he does. I think the constituents see him doing that and masquerading being a tough guy. And that's enough for them. The truth is not something they're interested in. Having decency is not something they're interested in because morality is eroded so much that they just see, oh, good, she was a Biden person and he's browbeating her in improper grammar. And because the state is ranked 50th in education, they might think saying, when was you fired is proper. It's just, I don't understand what to make of an electorate in a state that witnessed right-wing terrorism bomb the Alfred P. Murrah building. And then they continue to vote for parties that have all of these Proud Boys and all of these right-wing militia nuts in it. I don't know how you teach people like that facts.
That's really the breakdown, is people don't want to know the facts and they want to argue what the facts are. Mark Wayne Mullen does it. He argues what the facts are. I saw him post, he voted against releasing the Epstein files. And the way the Senate, the question was worded, voting no meant you wanted to release the files. And he misrepresented it on his social media and was like, Democrats all voted no. And I'm like, you're the biggest dumbass. And I question, does he know?
Yeah.
You think he knows?
Yeah. He knows. I mean, I don't think he knows how to speak English well.
Right.
But I think he knows. I mean, this is the same guy that I believe he's done like the family portraits that have become all too common with right-wing politicians, where they take pictures with assault rifles as a family and everybody has the assault rifles. This guy is a big, Bible thumper, hypocrite, which then leads me to, I want his search history from the RNC. I want to know what apps were installed and uninstalled, because what are you hiding from? Why do you speak so much about scripture and conviction and morals, and then you always vote the exact opposite of your apparent Lord and personal Savior, which leads me to the conclusion that people that do this are hiding some really evil shit in their private lives.
Well, don't you think that, it just proves itself time and time and time again. The super preachers that are up there browbeating, infidelity, gay marriage, all that, then they're always the ones that get busted on Grindr or get busted with a sex worker or are fucking around with the church secretary. In fact, this is so weird that we're talking about this. I have this thing where I just bookmark all the times I see Republican politicians that have been arrested for some type of nefarious sexual content. Sexual conduct. I do it like 2 or 3 times a day. I bet in the last week alone, I have 10, North Carolina, Georgia. It's like these big rah-rah Christian guys. Look no further than Jerry Falwell Jr., Liberty University. You can't hold hands at the university. And his wife's banging the pool guy while he watches.
Yeah.
And then he's going to sit in judgment of other people's morals. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Don't you think, though, Pumps, that's at the epicenter of why these men support Trump? Because Trump got away with it.
Yeah.
He fucked a porn star. He fucked the Playboy bunny. He doesn't have to be accountable for the things that they don't want to be accountable for. And so he provides cover. It's like, fuck yeah, if I want to go do gay shit on the weekend, I can get away with it because I'm a white privileged male. If I want to go, hire 25 sex workers while I'm traveling and my wife is at home with the kids and then show up on Sunday morning and roll out to Sunday school, I can do it. Like, Trump represents the worst in the white man's impulses. It's all come to this one giant, disgusting pimple. And they all follow under him because he offers some sort of permission structure for their moral duplicity. And it makes them feel a little bit better.
Right. He's never been held accountable, so I shouldn't be held accountable.
He's not a good example. So in his duplicity, it provides cover. Well, Trump's fighting for America. He's a patriot. Yeah, he fucks around and talks about Arnold Palmer's cock all the time and how big it is. And he tried to give a microphone a blowjob. Yeah, after Charlie Kirk's funeral, I logged into Grindr and I did some gay shit. But who doesn't do it? That seems to be kind of like the thing. I wish that there was some really some journalists that could really embed when there's a next big meeting of Republicans at places, like there was at the RNC, like there was at Charlie Kirk's funeral. And then you see these Grindr surges and use reported outages, et cetera. That's really the Watergate work of today.
Yeah.
Is to just start exposing these hypocrites that normally we would have empathy for, but because they wake up every day and want to erode civil rights and make LGBTQ plus people less safe, Black people less safe, brown people less safe. Fuck them.
Fuck them.
Yeah. All right. Welcome to I've Had It. I'm Jennifer.
I'm Angie. HBIC stands for Beaver.
All right. Kylie,
Yes.
what's going on?
I just want to, I have a Mark Wayne Mullen memory I also wanted to throw out.
Oh, good.
That we cannot forget. He is the one that cowered under a chair during January 6th and ran and hid like a little fucking baby.
That's right.
Big tough guy.
He is. And he's like Mr. Workout Boy, Mr.
UFC.
Isn't he like a UFC?
UFC
That's a
fighter,
red
boxer,
flag.
WWE, something like that. Yeah, he was. He was cowering under the chair, but he's a big, tough guy. And he wasn't scared of January 6th.
Okay, I've got some reviews for you. This one is 5 stars, titled Jesus Would Totally Approve. And they write, atheist? Yes. More Christ-like than 95% of Christians? Absolutely. Jennifer and Angie pour out compassion, empathy, and fierce support for the marginalized, all while keeping it real with the profanity and petty grievances, which I absolutely love. The podcast is raw, honest, and full of the kind of humanity Jesus actually preached. Bravo, ladies. Love from a fellow Brown Treat.
That's so nice.
That is nice.
That is so nice. In a world my entire life where Christians have told me I'm going to hell, my parents are bad parents because they didn't take me to church, and seeing the moral depravity of the people who said those types of things about me and my family, it's so comforting to see that from, I assume that she's probably a person of faith, because for me, my atheism in the Bible Belt has always been a source of judgment and projected cruelty onto me from my peers. Now, I want to say, I have some fabulous, fabulous friends in Oklahoma City that are like, when you're open-minded in a red state, you are very, very, very open-minded, because you're constantly reminded when you see a megachurch friend of just how gross and hypocritical that life is, that it makes you run to open-mindedness even more so. And so that's so nice to see, because I'm telling you guys, the Bible Belt cruelty, and if they treat a white privileged woman like me like that, that's why I'm so inclusive and compassionate towards Black people, towards brown people, towards LGBTQ plus people. Because if they treat me
Right.
like that, imagine how they treat minorities. It's far worse than what they treat me.
Well, we're seeing it play out. Like the mentality of all of these evangelicals is now nationwide. Look at no further than Kristi Noem. Big Christian. She's big into the Bible. And she rips people off the street and has her people have masks on. She sends them without due process to Alligator Alcatraz or foreign country prison camps, and lays her head on the pillow at night and thinks, I'm such a great Christian. I am doing the Lord's work. And she believes it.
It's gross. And I'll never get over her shooting the dog. I saw an article that I can't remember, it was maybe New York Magazine or something, that Donald Trump said to somebody, I think it was Don Jr. Don Jr. said, are you going to hire her? She shot her dog. And he says to Don Jr., well, that's not good. You wouldn't even do that, and you kill everything. Trump said that to Jr.
Right.
And that's how bad she is, that even Kanks is like, she's a real psycho. Of course, he hired her immediately, and he'll probably never fire her, because being morally depraved is a prerequisite to work for an authoritarian. And because he has to elevate himself above everybody. And he likes to have all of these parasitic flea bags underneath him. And God.
Has he found a treasure trove of flea bags?
Listener, the hot book of the summer. Oops, I have it the wrong way. Take 2. Listener, the hot book of the summer is now the cool book of the fall. It is, in Trump's America, I can tell you with absolute certainty, the best book that has ever been written. And believe me, a lot of people are talking about it.
Everybody's talking about it.
Everybody's talking about it. It took us 1 day to write it.
Because we're
on day 1.
Because we took a cognitive test and it was book, write, done.
All right. Anyway, please buy our book. It's a great way to support us. It is a really fun read for the fall. Curl up with your pumpkin spice lattes and just enjoy living the American dream in dipshit Trump's America. This episode of I've Had It is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states or situations. Listener, cooler days are upon us, and that means it's time to dress in layers. And that's why my go-to for introducing new pieces to my fall wardrobe is Quince. I personally love their $50 Mongolian cashmere, but don't overlook their premium denim that fits like an absolute dream. And they also have luxe outerwear that you will wear year after year. These are the pieces that will turn into your fall uniform. And because Quince partners directly with top-tier ethical factories and cuts out the middleman, they deliver luxury quality pieces at half the price of similar brands. It's the kind of wardrobe upgrade that feels smart, stylish, and effortless. Listener, find your fall staples at Quince. Go to quince.com/hadit for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/hadit to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/hadit. Listener, have you ever actually thought about what you're cleaning your home with and how it might be affecting you, like allergy-wise or reaction-wise? I know it sounds a little bit odd to think about, but what you use in your environment really should not be overlooked. And that's why I am proud to share with our sponsor with you guys, Branch Basics. I have switched everything in my home to Branch Basics. It's made from plant and mineral-based ingredients. Branch Basics is a human-safe and biodegradable, making it perfect for families, especially those with babies, kids, or pets. The Branch Basics refill model makes it even easier to keep your home clean year-round. Once you run out, all you need to restock is the concentrate and oxygen booth. Plus, the kits make the perfect gift for any occasion. So, listener, ready to kick off your back-to-school reset? Head to branchbasics.com to shop the premium starter kit and save 15% off with the code HADIT at branchbasics.com. That's 15% off your new Branch Basics premium starter kit at branchbasics.com with the promo code HADIT. Start fresh this season with products that are safe, simple, and actually work.
Okay, I've got another review. This one is 5 stars titled, "You're Invited to the Fiesta." I'm sure I speak for every marginalized community member when I say thank you and welcome to the family. Being a Latina from California, I love diversity and culture, but the current administration has made that feel wrong. It calms me to know that there's support out there, even in the red states. Keep up the fight.
I mean, these messages, you guys, it makes me so happy that you get joy, but it makes me so sad about the dehumanization that is happening, and that, you know, we're receiving messages where somebody's that's Latina, which is cool, which is awesome, saying, thank you for supporting me. And that should just be a given.
Right.
You know, and so, I mean, you're welcome, and I will fight for all of us as long as I'm on this earth. But good God, America, this can't be the way.
No.
Demeaning immigrants. I mean, these are hardworking people. And a lot of now, when it comes to Latin culture, you're talking about, you know, we're 5-6 generations deep in this. A girl that works for my interior design firm, she's a first generation American. Both of her parents were not born here, but she was. And my life and my business is inherently better having her perspective in it when we've had to travel to job sites and to Dallas or to other places, and the conversations we have about what her upbringing was like as a daughter of immigrants, and what my upbringing was like as a upper middle class American that grew up in white suburban America. I'm a better person for hearing her story. It makes me better.
Right.
It makes me have more gratitude. It makes me more empathetic. And to the white Christians that demean and diminish people that are not white, people whose families were immigrants, and people who are Black, and people who are gay, and people who are trans, I just think you're the most despicable part of our country. I think that when Biden called you trash, he was spot on. And I think when Hillary Clinton said you're a basket of deplorables, she was spot on, because it should just be a given to show kindness to your fellow Americans. Like we were raised being told the United States of America is a melting pot.
Right.
We embraced it.
That was good.
We embraced it.
I don't know. I mean, obviously, there are a million factors for this. But when you think about it, like you said, like bringing other people, hearing other languages, hearing other people's perspective, that's how you get better. That's how your perspective changes. And I feel like disagreement, like if you have political disagreements and discord, generally, you hear a perspective that you don't have naturally, and you can look at it and objectively think, do I want to take that into account or do I not? And now we're in this place where everybody has to sit around the table of the cabinet and talk for 3 hours about dear leader. And our country is getting worse, objectively worse in every category, from economics to immigration. Like there is health, the dollar, every single metric is going down. And instead of having people that we can talk to and disagree with and get better, we're all sucking a man's dick that has makeup and cankles and cannot form a complete sentence or say acetaminophen. That's where we are.
Yeah. Or cryptologist. Remember that one? Cryptologist. And it's also like everything's eroded, but also the collective sense of humanity. That's the one I really grieve for, Pumps.
You're right.
You know, like my mother said she went to a Mexican restaurant the other day, and a guy was sitting in there wearing an alligator Alcatraz shirt on in a restaurant owned and operated by immigrants, employing immigrants. That's on purpose. That is to show your supremacy.
Yeah.
The point of that is to be cruel. Buying it is the point of even having merch like that is to be cruel. And that's the part that I really grieve, is seeing so many people, especially when you live in a red state, that are so quick to dehumanize and not have a sense of humanity for anybody else's struggle or any sense of decency. And they've wrapped it all up somehow in their weaponization of their faith, the bastardization of their faith. And they somehow think they're warriors and they're fighting some fucking imaginary war. And everything that they do and everything they say is the exact opposite of what the central character of the Bible was about. He spoke at length about wealth, and he was very much against the accumulation of wealth. He spoke about not praying in public. And then you look at Charlie Kirk's funeral. He didn't like overt religiosity.
Right.
He found it unattractive and inauthentic. Yet all of these mega church Bible thumpers with their hands up in the air and the tongue talking at the White House, the tongue talking that horrible, awful, lying piece of shit, hypocritical Christian Caroline Leavitt does before. It's all performative. It's all this performative shit. And you know, they're all fucking terrible people, because they sit there and we're all watching the mental decline and the physical decline of this 97-year-old man who can't speak, who rambles on, and they watch the decline and they sit there and lie to everybody and lie to themselves and be like, oh, President Trump is so funny. Oh, he just cracks me up.
That's the thing. Sometimes I'll get on like MAGA Twitter or whatever, and I'll see that they're like laughing. They think he will say something that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And they think he's a ha-ha knee slapper. And I'm like, the president of the United States is not to be such an imbecile with such rampant idiocracy that it's funny.
Yeah.
But here we are.
And one thing about you just said being on MAGA Twitter, here's the thing. Like, I have a Twitter account. It's locked because I don't tweet, because Twitter is not a safe place for women. It's just fucking awful. But I do like to look for up-to-date news for our other podcast. And I don't follow any right-wingers, but my feed, I only follow like news agencies and then some progressive-leaning commentators because I think they're really smart and I like their take on things. My feed ends up being 30% news, 30% the people I follow, and 70% vile MAGA shit because Elon Musk has rigged it as such.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Moving along, we have some news I would like to share with the class today. Number 1, Gen Z women are deliberately dating ugly men. It's called Shrekking. And the question is, could Shrekking, like the character Shrek in the movie, could Shrekking cure dating fatigue? So Shrekking is a new term referring to the act of intentionally dating someone seen as less attractive than you in the hope that they will treat you better. It plays on the idea that many Gen Zers are struggling to find partners, whether that be in real life or online. Shrekking is technically a unisex term, but it's mainly women sharing their experiences online. Shrekking doesn't just have to be about looks. It can be based on intelligence, humor, or even earnings. Basically, it just means lowering your standards in the hope of opening up the pool of potential partners. With only 56% of Gen Z reporting having had a romantic relationship in their teens, that's a heartbreaker, compared to 78% of boomers, it might be time to accept that maybe there is an issue with dating. And now I would like to kick it to the co-host of my podcast, Pumps. I didn't know what you did when you married your first husband was Shrekking.
I invented this.
You are a pioneer.
Trailblazer.
Tell Gen Z how it worked out.
Fucking terrible.
Tell them about these people set you on a blind date.
Okay.
And what you immediately thought about him.
Okay, I go on this blind date and I immediately thought, he is so unattractive, not cute at all. His pants were like super starched, like standing up, could have walked across the room. Highly unattractive. And that's like when I was young and cute and I smoked cigarettes. And you could smoke in restaurants back in the day. And typically when I went out on a date, I didn't smoke in front of the date because, I'm sure I smelled like it, but whatever. I mean, I immediately just put my purse on the table, threw that pack of cigarettes down, lit it up right there at the table because I was like, this is DOGUGLYNO.
That's dog ugly no, listener.
No, like immediately no. And in fact, I looked at my roommate and I went under where he couldn't see me when he picked me up, but she could see me. And I was doing that, like finger down the throat, like, okay. Fast forward. After the date, he doesn't call me for 2 weeks. So I have to immediately, because I kept saying, why would he not call me? I am 1,000 times cuter, 1,000 times more fun. Like he should be dying to go out with me again. So I would not have gone out with him, except I wanted to go out with him again and tell him how great I was to make sure he knew. And then who ended up getting fucked in that deal? Me.
You and all the other women he brought into your marriage. There was a lot of fucking going on in that deal.
Not between us.
But I mean, you are a pioneer of the Shrekking.
Yeah.
When I saw that online, when I sent it to Kylie to load in for this episode, I was like, oh my God, we've been talking about what Pumps did for now 30 years.
Right.
And now we know what it is. You were the original Shrekker.
I was.
So listen up, Gen Z.
Don't do it.
Do not do it.
Do not lower your standards.
Do not. If you get a red flag the first date, run. This episode of I've Had It is brought to you by IQ Bar, and IQ Bar is our exclusive snack and hydration sponsor. IQ Bar is the better for you plant protein-based snack made with brain-boosting nutrients to refuel, nourish, and satisfy hunger without the sugar crash. Listen, you guys, sometimes we get here and we start filming I've Had It and I hit news. Several hours pass and I'm about to gnaw my arm off, but then we have a guest coming on. So I run downstairs and I grab an IQ bar, and I'm telling you, these protein bars are 1,000,000 times better than the competitors. The bars plant protein are the smarter snack choice with more fiber and less sugar and carbs than the alternatives. I also like the IQ mix. It's a 0 sugar drink mix that hydrates with electrolytes, improves mood, and boosts clarity. So listener, right now, IQ Bar is offering our special podcast listeners 20% off all IQ Bar products, including the sampler pack, plus free shipping. To get your 20% off, text HAD IT to 64,000. Text HAD IT to 64000. That's HAD IT to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details. This ad is brought to you by Vive Healthcare, the makers of Apertude, Cabotegravir.
You never skip your SPF, and you carry hand sanitizer like an accessory, but what are you doing for HIV prevention? One way to help protect yourself from HIV is Apertude, a prescription medicine used to reduce the risk of getting HIV in adults and adolescents weighing at least 77 pounds.
You must be HIV negative to receive Apertude and get tested before each injection. If you think you were exposed to HIV or have flu-like symptoms, tell your doctor right away. More HIV testing may be needed. Apertude does not prevent other sexually transmitted infections. Practice safer sex to reduce your risk. Get Apertude as scheduled. Missing doses increases your HIV risk. Don't take Apertude if allergic to it or taking certain medicines that may interact. Tell your doctor about your medical conditions, liver problems, and mental health. Serious side effects include allergic reactions or rash, liver problems, and depression. If these occur, get medical help right away. The most common side effect is injection site reaction. Bring your A game and talk to your doctor. Learn more at apertude.com or call 1-888-240-0340. Let's face it, listener, a lot of us do not know the status of our financial situations. You might have a saving account here. You might have a 401k account over there that your employer matches. And this lack of self-awareness leads to leaving money on the table. And that's why I can personally endorse Monarch. It will help you feel organized and confident in your finances. Monarch Money is the all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. They help you not leave money on the table. You don't need to track every dollar, but ignoring your finances entirely can cost you. Monarch isn't just another finance app. It's a tool real professionals and experts actually love. It's named the best budgeting app of 2025 by the Wall Street Journal. So listener, don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code HADIT at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com, and be sure to use code HADIT. Okay, moving along to the second story. This is really important right now because there are attacks on the LGBTQ plus community, while at the same time, Grindr outages in places where MAGA men are visiting. So this man right here, his name is John Polk, and he says it was a lie. John Polk, one of the nation's leading conversion therapy proponents, admits it was a lie. Today, I'm whole, a proud gay man, a loving dad, and a joyful grandpa. In 2013, Polk renounced conversion therapy as a fraud and apologized to the LGBTQ plus community. I lied to the people I preached to, but I was lying to myself the most. The truth, it doesn't work. It causes deep harm, shame, and despair. A 2022 study of nearly 200,000 LGBTQ plus people found those subjected to conversion efforts faced double the rates of severe psychological distress and suicide attempts. Pauk said, in 2013, I chose truth. I came out as a gay man, left the movement, and became a chief in Portland. Through years of therapy and heartfelt apologies, I began to heal. Today, I'm whole, a proud gay man, a loving dad, and a joyful grandpa. I am simply myself, whole, safe, secure, and loved. No more facades, just authenticity. To every LGBTQ plus person out there, you are enough. You don't need fixing. To parents, love your kids as they are. It's our duty to rewrite the narrative, a story of survival, joy, and unapologetic authenticity. Conversion therapy tried to break us, but we're here, thriving, learning, and living our truth.
Wow, good for him. I've seen an interview with him, and it's pretty profound. And every time I hear about Mike Johnson's wife and him doing the conversion therapy, it just reinforces the fact that they're trying desperately, in my opinion, not to act on their gay feelings. And it breaks my heart that people send their kids to that still today. I mean, it breaks my heart.
And it's going to escalate.
Oh, 1 million.
With what I saw at the Charlie Kirk funeral, that was all about Christian nationalism. And then at the exact same time, grinders experiencing outages. Mm-hmm. And so good on this man who was inside the Death Star to come out on the other side, to tell people it was a lie and I was a part of the problem, and then to just apologize.
Yeah.
To apologize to the community so that he could earn his way in it. And I think what people have to realize about the LGBTQ plus movement is their instinct, the gay men that I know, when they see really extreme closet cases, their first instinct is empathy, because they know the torment of the societal constructs that have been put around shaming them for who they are, from their parents, from their churches, etc. And then we're at a place right now where all gay men, we've talked about this in other podcasts, it's a universal experience, pervasive in America. If you're a gay man and you're on the apps, you're going to come across loads and loads and loads and loads of married MAGA men on Grindr. Yes. It is pervasive and ubiquitous on the app. And I don't know what to say other than what we've said in the past, which is I have so much empathy for this community. And the hellfire that is getting rained on them by the Trump administration is 95 million steps back.
Absolutely.
The celebration that I've seen online of when Kitten Hills in Florida painted over the gay pride memorial in front of Pulse nightclub, and these right-wingers celebrating that is such a step back. But we have to keep fighting. We've made it to a place where this man felt safe enough to come outside of the Death Star, to make amends, and to now live his truth and share those beautiful words of accountability, of acceptance, of forgiveness, all of those things. And so I just think it's going to be incredibly important as we get through this fascism that we leave no one behind. And oftentimes the top people that are marginalized right now are trans people. Yeah. And I know that there are so many trans listeners out there and so many trans Americans. And I just want to say, first and foremost, we love you. And secondly, stay strong and stay true to yourselves, because none of this is going to age well. I know it's hard. I know you probably feel paranoid and terrified and scared. And I can't imagine the calculation you must make if you walk outside in some red state of these gun nuts running around. But it's just, I think it's super important that the Democratic Party, independents, that we acknowledge we cannot marginalize any group. You can't do it. You have to fight for everybody's right to be who they are.
Absolutely. And that's very well said. And I think it's so important, especially now that the left is blaming gun violence on trans people, even though numerically and by the data, that is just absolute horseshit. But they're going to be under attack more than ever before, and it's wrong. And, you know, whatever anybody can do to help love these people because they deserve it and they need it.
And not only love these people, but call out transphobia in real time.
Yep.
If you are at a place and somebody says something about these pronouns or these trans people, call them out. Call them out immediately, swiftly, and quickly to their face. Because what the government is saying right now is they are saying that trans people are terrorists. And nothing is further from the truth.
Right.
The fact of the matter is, trans people are not terrorists. Trans people are being terrorized by closeted demon queens who, in their spare time, the number one hotbed of Googling trans porn is Lawton, Oklahoma. And then you just sweep right through the Bible Belt. Yep. So the most important thing, because this news cycle is just run amok cruelty, the most important thing we can do in real time is call people out that know us and that we know them. And I recently did it. A guy was showing me his coffee cup and that he had been to Starbucks and he had them put Charlie Kirk on it. And I looked him in the face and I said, why are you honoring a racist? I condemn gun violence. I condemn violence, period. But why are you honoring a racist and showing that to me with a shit-eating grin on your face? Fuck you. And I made him as uncomfortable as all get out. And of course, like all cowards do, he couldn't defend his position. He tucked and rolled and ran away from me. This is a white man who was born with a trust fund that's never had to work in a day in his life, that just oozes privilege, who thought it was going to be funny to walk up to the liberal podcaster to poke the bear. And I poked right back, and I poked back 1,000,000 times harder. And like all cowards, he tucked and rolled and then went away, because this man has never been vulnerable a day in his life. And it was my job, when he decided to try to poke the bear with me and tell me that he supports an unrepentant racist, homophobe, and sexist, that I wasn't okay with that I didn't think it was cute. I didn't think it was neat. I didn't think it was funny. And I wanted him to know the following words: fuck you. And so on a person-to-person basis, the people in your lives that try to say anti-immigrant messaging, anti-trans messaging, anti-gay messaging, just straight up racist shit that we've all heard our entire lives, and white people, you know it. You know it. Call them out to their faces in real time. They will not defend their position. They tuck and roll away, but maybe, just maybe, it makes them think.
That's what, yeah. And I think that's the best you can hope for, is that it will crack and they will think. And having been inside the indoctrination, little things over time do crack through. So even if you don't feel like your effort's making a difference on that day, you just don't know what the future holds.
All right. That's all we have for today. Please buy our book. I don't know where it went.
I don't know where it went either.
Our table just goes away. Is it over there?
No, it's not on the table.
All right. Buy our book. The link is below in the bio, and Pumps tell them.
We will see you next Tuesday and Thursday.
I'll tell you what I've had it with. Let's hear it. I've had it with that.
Listen up, patriots, gaytriots, and natriots. We have a new podcast that has dropped. It's called iHip News. It's Monday through Friday, every day, 15 to 20-minute hot takes on the political landscape of the United States of America, always served with a side of petty grievances.
We are on all the available platforms: Apple, Spotify, Google, whatever you get your podcasts, and YouTube.
Please go rate, subscribe, and review so that we will chart upwards with America's greatest legal mind. Pumps. What does an eagle say?
Caw-caw.
A little bit more enthusiasm.
Caw-caw.
That's it. That's
Caw-caw.
the patriotism that this country needs right there.